Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to The Spoken, where it's sports unscripted. I'm your host, Terry Love. To my left, Lance D.will. To my right, Mr. Derek Williams. We're here to talk about the NBA playoffs. On yesterday, we had the Miami Heat finalize the game, the series against the Indiana Pacers at Indiana, at home, and not at their home, but of course, away. They took care of business. Dwayne Wade went off on last night with 41 points. LeBron had, what, 27?
28, 7, 6.
There you go. You got Mr. Stats right here for you. So they took care of business. Miller hit, what, 2 threes, several threes. There you go, several threes. I don't like the guy, but it's a totally different story.
Don't give it away or anything, Terry.
The Pacers didn't really come out to play as if it was an elimination game, which caused them to stay home, not move on to the next round. So now the Heat are waiting in the Eastern Conference Finals, waiting to see who wins the next round between the Boston Celtics and the 76ers, who play on tomorrow night. But let's talk about the Heat right now. So,
I'd love to hear from Mr. Derek Williams, Mr. Pacers and 6. I'd love to hear from
what did the
coach.
Heat do right on yesterday, Derek? Besides Wade, hitting 41 points.
Came out and punched him in the mouth. Came out and hit him early. Took away any kind of confidence that they had. Indiana hung in there with them, but for the most part, they showed their immaturity. They showed that as good as they played in the beginning, they're not ready to compete with a team like the Heat. The Heat showed that they've been there and done that before. They came out yesterday, looked like a veteran team looking to get back to the finals. I thought the Heat did a good job. It kind of surprised me with the way they played yesterday. But as star power, man, you got two superstars like that, man. They came in. It was just too much for the Pacers to handle.
Well, what I saw from the Heat, I mean, I'll go each team. What I saw from the Heat was that was the prime example of what happens when everything's dropping for you. I mean, everything they were shooting up there was going in. I mean,
especially Wade.
Yeah, I mean, Wade was hitting the top of the backboard and he was just dropping it. I mean, he was just feeling it last night. I think that, you know, we might be reading too much into it, but I think that drained knee did help him out a lot. You saw his speed, his quickness, everything with the ball off the dribble. Everything looked a lot better and sharper these last couple games. So what I saw from the Heat was and I've been saying it over and over again, when their role players are hitting three-pointers, this team looks so unbeatable. I mean, they really do. I mean, I know their bigs are terrible. They can't score to save their lives. I think Joel Anthony led all their bigs in like 6 points, 5 points. You know, so you know Haslam was gone, so they definitely had some big holes. And this is where I segue to the Pacers. The Pacers, you would think eventually they would have got it. You gotta pound the ball. David West was trying, but he's not a real big man. He's only 6'8". Hibbert was the one that needed to take initiative last night. Right. He did not do that, and they paid the price. They paid with the series. They did not play ball the way they could have beaten the Heat. We all talked about it. We all agreed if they play a certain way, they will beat the Heat, and they did not do that. They kept jacking up threes. They kept settling for easy buckets or hard buckets, contested buckets with like 15, 16 seconds left on the clock. They didn't play right team basketball, and that's why they lost. The Heat took initiative. They smelled blood in the water, and they took advantage of it. The last 3 games, Dwayne Wade and LeBron James scored 197 points combined. The starting 5 for the Pacers had 184. You're not winning that way.
Star power, just star power. 2 superstars showing why they're superstars, and sending these guys home packing. And I also, too, I didn't think the coach from Indiana did a great job.
I was going to ask, how was the coach on both teams?
I think you know, like I said earlier, you got to give Eric Spoelstra a little credit here. It's not too often he's going to outcoach anybody, to be honest with you.
That's right, it's true. It's not
and
true.
I thought that after they went down 2-1, he made some adjustments, got LeBron and Wade in some different spots on the floor. Indiana just didn't make any adjustments.
There was just an arrogance about them. They had their fans called the shirts with gold swagger on it. It's just like they almost felt like they had arrived, and I think that was the biggest problem right there from the get-go, is that they had this sense of entitlement, like we belong here, and you're the ones with the pressure. And no, see, the Heat are the ones that have already been, like you just said, they've been here and done this before. The Pacers are the ones that had to make a name for themselves, and they didn't. They just looked like a bunch of morons out there trying to start fights. And that's what happened. That's why they lost in 6 games.
They were up 2-1 when they were feeding the post, and their bigs were having big games. Once they became a jump shooting team, they are at home now.
All right, our next topic is the 76ers versus the Celtics. The Celtics had a chance to finish it off in Philly, and they did not do so. So now on tomorrow night, they head back to Boston for Game 7 in this series. Now, some people say that Kevin Garnett looks tired, slow, old, or whatnot. But so can this Celtics team beat the 76ers at home? Start with you.
The 76ers can beat the Celtics in Boston because they've already done it.
Right.
So I'm not so worried about that. What this game comes down to is what the Celtics are going to bring.
Right.
Because the Sixers, if you watch these games, the Sixers react to the Celtics. It isn't the other way around. Because the Sixers are very consistent. They have a planned attack. They know what they're wanting to do, but they're going to arrange it around what the Celtics bring because you don't know what the Celtics have. You don't know if they're going to try to shoot three-pointers, which they've not done well. The only guy that's been shooting well this entire series really consistently is KG. That's why he's worn out. It has nothing to do with his age because that man is in great shape. The reason he is tired is because he's working his butt off on both sides of the court,
right.
And his other guys around him are not helping him out. That's what's happening with him. Ray Allen, I said it over and over again, is a shell of what he once was. I don't know if it's because of his age, I don't know if it's his injury, I don't know what if it's both. It might be. The fact is the guy's not shooting the ball. When he doesn't shoot the ball well, this Celtics team is half of what they could be. Rajon Rondo has disappeared the last couple of times. I know he's had some 13 assist games, that's great and everything, but the guy has not been a leader on the court. He's not been facilitating. He's been trying to find the crazy pass, the good-looking pass instead of the best pass. And that's the problem. Paul Pierce is getting slower and slower as each game comes on. So the Sixers have a great opportunity in Boston to win this game. Will they? I don't know because, like I said, we don't know if Boston comes out and becomes the Boston that we've seen before where they win by 30 points. We don't know. I'm going to say Boston can win this game, but like I said, it's such a mystery. They're a mystery team.
What about you, Derek?
I think the KG stuff, that he's tired, I think that's overrated. You can throw that junk out the window. This guy's not tired. This guy's a warrior. If you go up and down the basketball floor, of course, if you look at a guy, he might look tired. He's not tired. He's one of the best conditioned athletes we have in basketball. He just got to run through a wall. I expect him to have a huge game. I expect for Rondo to have a triple-double in Game 7. And I think the Celtics will come out, and I think they will roll in Game 7.
Awesome. All right, now the very next topic is about Odom, or is it Dwight Howard?
No, Dwight Howard.
Dwight Howard possibly being traded. You know, that whole back and forth situation going back. I want to be a Magic, Orlando Magic. No, I don't want to be traded. No, I'm not sure. I want to do my option. I'm not for sure. And now, coach is gone. Yeah. Now they're changing things around, and he may be part of that change. What do you think about that?
He's going to be gone.
I heard you say earlier today that in 2 weeks he'll be a Laker.
I'm predicting in 2 weeks he'll be a Laker.
That means Bynum will be gone?
Yeah. I'm a big Bynum fan. Don't get me wrong. I think Bynum's a better center than Dwight Howard.
Will be like a 1-for-1?
It's going to be a 1-for-1. I don't think you're going to give up anything extra. I mean, if I think a lot of people around the league feel that Bynum is better than Dwight Howard, right. So the Lakers no reason to put anything extra with Bynum. It'll be straight up. Like I said, I'm a big Bynum fan, but I think right now it might be a better fit for both of the guys. Bynum might need a change of scenery. Dwight obviously looks like he needs a change of scenery. Just been a messy situation in Orlando. I'm thinking 2 weeks that he's going to be in a Lakers uniform.
You know, that don't make sense because a Bynum for Dwight Howard trade would make sense. I mean, it's a good 1-for-1 exchange. It's a change of scenery for both guys because I think both of them need it. I just don't think, and this is just how I feel, I don't think Dwight Howard if he has the opportunity to make the move, he's not going to do it. Because he's Mr. Indecision. You know, everybody calls LeBron the decision. He's the indecision. He's the guy that says he wants to do something, and when the time is to make the move, he doesn't do it. Last year, or I'm sorry, yeah, there's just last season, he had every opportunity in the world to say, I'm sticking with my guns, I want to be traded, Magic's moved me, figure out a way to get me out of town. And he did it all the way up to the point where he had that the press conference with the media, and he had every opportunity that day when he already said, I want to be traded. 3 hours later, he comes and says, no, I want to stay. He comes and does that whole press conference and stays. Now, that confuses the fans naturally.
Right.
Him and Stan Van Gundy, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if Dwight Howard himself came on the show and told me I had nothing to do with him being fired. I don't believe him. He's a liar when it comes to that situation. He had everything to do with Stan Van Gundy being fired. Because why do you fire a guy that wins 66% of his games in the 5 years he's there, takes you to the postseason every year and the finals one time? How are you going to tell me that? You can't tell me that unless your superstar wants him gone. I just can't believe it. It's fluff. So I think that Dwight Howard is actually going to stay a Magic. I think unless they want to trade him, unless they're going to actually believe that he's gone and they can't convince him to stay, I think that either they trade him or he says, you know what, I'm happy in Orlando.
Okay, well, real quick, let's talk about our next topic. Odom said he wants to come back and be a Knick. What do you think about that? Is that just talk, or because some people say no, he's born, he's from New York, right? So he might maybe want to go back home or whatnot, but he's from Chicago. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, throw that one little gem in there, didn't you?
All right, so what do you think about that? Is that a good move for Odom?
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely is, because this team is a team that can definitely start winning. Mike Woodson is the perfect coach for them, and I know they got that extension going for him. So I think he's the kind of guy Lamar Odom can take comfort in, because Lamar is the kind of guy, he's very sensitive. He likes to feel comforted. Phil Jackson did a really good job with Lamar. I think Mike Woodson would be the same type of guy, because he's very good with guys like Lamar Odom and deal with like Josh Smith. In Atlanta, he has a lot of insecurities, and Mike Woodson was great with Josh Smith. So I think that with Lamar Odom, he could work with him very well. He could work with Carmelo, Mari Stoudemire. That's the kind of guy this team needs. They need a guy that's very solid on both sides, that can play 4 to 5 positions and is consistent. And I think if you make him happy, he'll do well.
It makes the Knicks better. You can play him at the 1 too. Because I'm not a big Jeremy Lin fan. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of glad that the Jeremy Lin crap had died down.
He just might start over again next year.
I don't think. I think we've seen the last of the Jeremy Lin stuff. He'll come back. He'll play, but all the Jeremy Lin hype and 30 minutes of sports.
Insanity.
Insanity. Yeah, that's chill.
That's just ESPN. That's just ESPN. That's just ESPN reaching for a story.
So Odom will fit.
Odom's the type of player, he'll fit anywhere. He's the kind of guy, if he wants to be there. I mean, he could have fit in Dallas. He just didn't want to be there.
Right.
But if he's locked in and tuned in, he can fit on any team in the league, because he can play 5 positions in the league. He's the only guy in the league that can do that consistently. Only guy in basketball.
Last topic, the final topic, AI's thinking about he wants to come back to the NBA. Should Allen Iverson come back to the NBA or not? What do you think,
Oh yeah, he definitely deserves a chance to get.
What team?
Who knows? I think Bobcats or the Raptors or somebody that's just a terrible team is going to give him a shot to get him some playing time. He deserves another shot.
If he comes back, I think he should.